Here in this slides, there is a discussion about mass storage structure, which is a part of operating systems concept. So, what does it mean? Mass storage structure. What does it mean, and what are the different kinds of storage devices we will discuss in these slides. Okay. Now, the overview of a mass storage structure. A general overview of the physical structure of secondary and tertiary storage devices. So, mass storage structure means it is a physical structure of secondary and tertiary storage devices. So, secondary and tertiary storage devices are nothing but they are some storage devices which are used when we are operating the computer. So, the operating system will be communicating with the memory, and the user will also communicates with the hardware by using the operating system. So, here the concept is about storage. What is the storage disk? What is the other one type of storage disk? Here that is called as magnetic disk. Magnetic disks are one type of storage devices. So, magnetic disks provide the bulk of storage, and it is a secondary storage. It provides a bulk of storage for modern computer systems. So, magnetic disks are used in the present computer system. So, its structure is given here. Moving head disk mechanism. So, here we see different types of circle type disk. So, it is having some parts. So, the circle part here is track, and the track contains number of sectors, and completely all the tracks will form a cylinder, and all the cylinders are attached all the tracks. Here all the tracks in a cylinder are attached by using an arm assembly. So, in the picture you can understand a spindle is available, and a read write head is there, which is used for moving the head on disk. Okay. So, what does the what does the operation of this, how do we operate this magnetic disk, how the mechanism is going on, that will be explained now. Each disk platter has a flat circular shape. So, here the disk platter has a flat circular shape like a CD. So, you can observe three platters are available. Those are those are circular shaped platters. So, each disk platter has a flat circular shape like a CD. Like a CD, you can observe the picture. They are they are like CD only. So, these are called as platters. So, there are three platters here, and common platter diameters range from 1.8 to 3.5 inches. So, the diameter of a platter ranges from 1.8 to 3.5 inches, and the two surfaces of a platter are covered with a magnetic material. So, the platter is having two surfaces. So, the two surfaces are covered with a magnetic material. So, this is all about a magnetic disk. So, moving head disk mechanism, how it moves. The head moving head mechanism is nothing but a read-write head flies just above the each surface of every platter. So whenever you are using this computer system, internally a read-write head flies just above each surface of every platter. The heads are attached to a disk arm. Here you can observe the disk arm. The disk arm is available, which is used for moving all the heads as a unit. Here the disk arm operation is to move all the heads as a unit. So by using the disk arm, the heads are attached to a disk arm that moves all the heads as a unit. The surface of the platter is logically divided into circular tracks. So the surface of the platter is by looking this picture you can understand the surface of the platter is logically divided into circular tracks, which are subdivided into sectors. So you have to remember this point. Each platter is logically divided into circular tracks, and the tracks are subdivided into sectors. So the set of tracks that are at one arm position makes up a cylinder. So we can see the picture. It is forming a cylindrical shape. Okay, there may be thousands of concentric cylinders in a disk drive. So and each track may contain hundreds of sectors. So we can say the storage capacity of common disk drives is measured in high range, that is in gigabytes. It is very high. When the disk is in use, a drive motor spins it at high speed. So whenever you are using the computer system, you will have a magnetic disk which you are using presently when you are operating a computer system. A drive motor spins this disk at very high speed. So this speed ranges from 60 to 250 times per second. This is all about the magnetic disk. This is the disk structure. These are the points which are covered now. Each disk platter has a flat circular shape like a disk, and about the diameter and surface we have discussed. We store information by recording it magnetically on the platters. By using this magnetic disk we can store information. Okay, and also we will have different types of parts that are also called as sectors. So by using this magnetic disk we can store information. So this is all about a magnetic disk. So the next concept in this magnetic disk only is a head crash. What is meant by head crash? Head crash is nothing but whenever you are using a magnetic disk, you will have an accident. Which accident is nothing but the disk platters are coated with a thin protected layer. The head will sometimes damage the magnetic surface. So as we have seen, disk platter, it is coated with a thin protective layer. You can see this in the picture. The disk platter is Disc platter is coated on both sides with thin protective layer. The head will sometimes damage the magnetic disc as the head uh, moves by using this arm assembly. What will happen is you may have some damage done on the magnetic surface of the platter. So this damage is called as head crash. So a disk drive is attached to a computer by a set of wires called an I/O bus. The next point is a disk drive is attached to a computer. How it is attached? By a set of wires called as I/O bus. So there are several kinds of buses which are available, including ATA, SATA, USB and fiber channel. ATA means advanced technology attachment. SATA means serial ATA, serial advanced technology attachment. Next one is universal serial bus, that is USB. And next one is fiber channel, FC. So the data transfers on a bus are carried out by special electronic processors called as controllers. So a disk is attached to a computer by using a set of wires, and these are called as I/O bus. These are referred as I/O bus. So there are several kinds of I/O buses. They are discussed just now, that is ATA, SATA and USB and a fiber channel. So these are different kinds of I/O buses. The data transfers on a bus are carried out by special electronic processors called controllers. How the data transfers on a bus? This is done by using controllers. There are two types of controllers, the host controller and the electronic process and the disk controller. So this is all about some points that are regarding this mass storage structures. So these are one type of storage devices, that is magnetic disk. We will come to the next type of magnetic storage devices, magnetic tapes. The next one is magnetic tape. Magnetic tape was used as an early secondary storage medium. Early days, when the people are using computer system, it is used, a magnetic tape is used, which is referred as secondary storage medium. Although it is relatively permanent and can hold large quantities of data, its access time is slow. So compared with that of main memory and magnetic disk, a magnetic tape is relatively permanent and holds large data, but its access time is slow when compared with that of main memory and magnetic disk. So nowadays we are using main memory and magnetic disk. In addition, random access to magnetic tape is about 1,000 times slower than random access to magnetic disk. So the point here is random access to magnetic tape. In addition to random access to magnetic tape is about 1,000 times slower than random access to magnetic disk. So tapes are not very useful for secondary storage. Tapes are used mainly for backup. Okay, for storage of infrequently used information and as a medium for transferring information from one system to another, we are using this magnetic tapes. A tape is kept in a spool and is wound or rewound past a right head. So you can understand this better when we are discussing about this in the next few. If possible, I will tell in next slides. So I will explain that in the further slides. Now the concept is about magnetic tapes. The tapes are mainly used for backup. The magnetic tapes are a form of storage devices which stores infrequently used information and as a medium for transferring information from one system to another. So the next concept is about the disk structure. Modern magnetic disk drives are addressed as large one-dimensional arrays of logical blocks. So here the disk structure is explained. Now, how will be the disk structure? Modern magnetic disk drives are addressed as large one-dimensional arrays of logical blocks, where the logical block is the smallest unit of transfer. The size of a logical block is 512 bytes, and more points regarding this disk structure are the logical block which is having the size of 512 bytes. The logical block is usually of 512 bytes. It is the smallest unit of transfer. Whenever you are transferring an information, it is divided into some parts. The smallest part is called as a logical block. So the disk structure was explained now. Now the last concept is disk attachment. Disk attachment, coming to this concept, computers access disk storage in two ways. There are two types of storages. One is host attached storage and the second one is network attached storage. Coming to host attached storage, it is a storage accessed through local I/O parts. What are local I/O parts? These local I/O ports. It is ports. So these ports use several technologies for storage. What are the different technologies? We will discuss later. The typical desktop PC uses an I/O bus architecture called IDER/ATA. So the desktop PC which we are using now, it has some I/O bus architecture called as IDER/ATA. So what is the purpose of this structure? It supports a maximum of 2 drives per I/O bus. Okay, this structure supports a maximum of 2 drives per I/O bus. And the second storage is network attached storage. A network attached storage device is a special purpose storage system. The client can access network storage. The clients access network attached storage via a remote procedure call interface. So here the network storage is using remote procedure call interface such as NFS for Unix systems or CIFS for Windows machines. Okay, so clients access network attached storage by using remote procedure call interface, which is known as NFS. For Windows it is CIFS, and for Unix it is NFS. What is meant by NFS and CIFS means They are nothing but storage. The clients will be using such interfaces in a management process of memory. So the remote procedure calls are carried out by using TCP or UDP over a IP network. Usually the same local area network that carries all traffic to the clients. That means this is all about network attached storage. The network attached storage unit is usually implemented as a RAID array with software that implements the RPC interface. You can see this picture here. The network attached storage provides a convenient way for all the computers on a LAN to share pool of storage with the same ease of naming and access enjoyed with local host attached storage. So it provides what? It provides convenient way for the computers on a LAN to share the storage. Okay, so the latest network attached attached storage protocol is ISC-SI. This is called as the latest network attached storage protocol. So this is all about the disk attachment. That means it has two types of accessing ways. Computer access disk storage in two ways. One is by using host attached storage, the other is one by using network attached storage. We have discussed them just now. We will move to the further concept. Storage area network. What is meant by storage area network? One drawback of network attached storage systems is that the storage IO operations consume bandwidth on the data network. Thereby, what will happen if the bandwidth is consumed? It increases the latency of network communication. So, because of this problem has to be solved. So this problem can be particularly acute in large client server installations. The communication between servers and clients competes for bandwidth with the communication among servers and storage devices. So what do you mean by a storage area network? Means it is a private network where in a storage area network the servers are connected and connecting servers and storage units is available in a storage area network. The servers and storage units are connected. The power of a SAN lies in the flexibility. So multiple hosts and multiple storage arrays can attach to the same storage area network, and storage can be dynamically allocated to hosts. A storage area network switch allows or prohibits access between the hosts and the storage. It prohibits the access between the hosts and the storage, which will be prohibits this storage area network will be prohibiting access between the host and the storage. That means we can see one example here. If a host is running low on disk space, the SAN can be configured to allocate more storage to that host. I repeat, if a host is running low on a disk space, the storage area network can be configured to allocate more storage to that host. So Make it possible for clusters of servers to share the same storage and for storage area arrays to include multiple direct host connections easily. SANs typically have more ports as well as more expensive ports than storage arrays. This is all about storage area network. So it is nothing but it is a private area network which will be connecting servers and the storage units. In the picture you can observe storage arrays are there. Storage array, tape library, which are connected to storage area network, and on the other side you can see servers, data processing center, web connect web content provider. These are connected to LAN or WAN, and these are further connected to clients. The clients will be connecting to LAN and the LAN will be connecting to the server, and the server will be connecting to storage area network. This is all about the storage. This is all about the storage area network. I think you have understood. Thank you all for listening.